Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. In the NBA these days, no deal is impossible, and big surprises always occur. The Warriors are interested in the Pelicans' Trey Murphy III, who is emerging as a star and a great scorer. Would signing him be impossible? The Warriors could offer Jonathan Kuminga and some assets to bring in Trey Murphy III to join Stephen Curry. Warriors targeting franchise-changing trade piece of latest rumor is true. The Golden State Warriors are reportedly interested in trading for Trey Murphy III. According to Jake Fisher of the Stein Line, the Golden State Warriors have shown heavy interest in a potential trade with the New Orleans Pelicans for Trey Murphy III. Adding Murphy to the mix would give the Warriors a defined direction for the future and change the entire outlook of the organization. Sources say that the Warriors have a strong affinity for Murphy and have made outreach to New Orleans as recently as this summer, Fisher wrote. Yet sources say that the Pelicans, to be clear, have batted away calls for the 25-year-old, valuing him highly. The two-way forward will be playing on a contract in 2025-26. At precisely $25 million, as desirable as his talent. Another team known to have registered trade interest in Murphy, sources say, is San Antonio. The question is, how could the Warriors make it happen? How could Warriors trade for Trey Murphy III? Unfortunately, as Fisher also stated, the Pelicans haven't shown much interest in moving Murphy. They want to keep him in New Orleans as a part of their future core, as evidenced by the notion that they have batted away offers. Still, if the Warriors could put together a massive package to offer the Pelicans, Murphy would be a perfect guy to bridge the gap between Warriors' present and Warriors' future. Theoretically, the Warriors could offer a package that includes some combination of a Jonathan Kuminga sign-and trade and one of Moses Moody or Buddy Hield in a deal for Murphy, and matching salary, once aggregation restrictions lift, along with a slew of picks. If Golden State feels strongly enough about Murphy's ability to help them now and moving forward, they could offer future firsts to the Pelicans, who would effectively be betting on the Warriors' downfall in the post-Stephen Curry era. But perhaps that should be a bet the Warriors are willing to take. Murphy has the talent to be one of the best scoring wings in the NBA. Not only would his elite three-point shooting help Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green right now, but he could be good enough to lead a new era of Warriors basketball once Curry retires. Should the Warriors make an offer strong enough to coerce the Pelicans to give up Murphy, it could change the outlook of the organization for the next decade. And if they feel Murphy is the missing piece to help Curry gun for another championship, a trade may be worth the risk. Warriors may need to think twice about who to give the MLE after latest update. Al Horford is the heavy favorite, but Malik Beasley has changed the conversation. The Herd. The Golden State Warriors appear destined to sign Al Horford using the mid-level exception, but a new Malik Beasley update should have them reconsidering their plans. Up to this point, Beasley has been passed over by teams in free agency due to an investigation into allegations that he was involved in gambling on NBA games. With Beasley reportedly cleared as a target in the federal investigation, he will suddenly hit the open market without the shadow of a potential suspension hanging over his head. Beasley's attorneys told ESPN that they had extensive conversations and meetings with the Eastern District of New York and were informed Beasley is not being considered the target after allegations regarding gambling on NBA games and prop bets during the 2023-24 season. As a result, the Warriors must seriously consider pursuing Beasley with the mid-level exception they hope to gain greater access to via a Jonathan Kuminga sign-and trade. This isn't to say that the Warriors need to back out of the Horford pursuit, as the former NBA champion would help stabilize the center position. Beasley, however, is a younger and more productive player who could potentially help the Warriors return to former glory. The task of signing Beasley won't be easy, but it's worth noting that his incumbent team, the Detroit Pistons, can sign him for no more than $7.2 million. The free agent market has significantly dried up since late June. While Detroit still retains his non-bird rights, the maximum they can sign him for is $7.2 million. The Pistons have signed Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, Javonte Green to replace Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. In other words, if the Warriors finally resolve the Kuminga situation, they could potentially swoop in and sign Beasley with a competitive offer. Malik Beasley, no longer under investigation, should be on Warriors' radar. Beasley, 28, is coming off of the best season of his NBA career thus far. He finished second in voting for Sixth Man of the Year after anchoring the second unit for the 44-38 Pistons, thriving as the sharpshooter he's long shown the ability to excel as. Beasley finished the 2024-25 campaign averaging 16.3 points, 2.6 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 0.9 steals, and 3.9 three-point field goals made on .430/.416/.679 shooting. Beasley was number 3 in the NBA in three-point field goals made per game, trailing only Stephen Curry and Anthony Edwards. He was also number 3 in three-point field goal percentage among players who converted at least 3.0 per game, with only Zach LaVine and Norman Powell ahead of him. For the Warriors, it's at least worth kicking the tires on whether or not Beasley would be open to joining them, as well as exploring the thought of how he'd fit. No one will be able to truly emulate what Klay Thompson brought to Golden State, particularly in the sense that he was a legitimate two-way player. With a combination of Beasley and Buddy Hield, however, the Warriors would have two legitimately elite shooters to pair with Curry. If nothing else, that trio could help Steve Kerr get back to tormenting teams from beyond the arc, even when Curry's shot may not be falling. The question, of course, is if that potential outcome would be more beneficial than adding Horford to solidify the interior. Horford is 39, but he's still a productive, efficient, and reliable player who provides value on both ends of the floor. Golden State must at least weigh their options, however, as they decide if Horford is still the best target for them given Beasley's sudden availability in free agency. Would Trey Murphy be a better fit than Jonathan Kuminga in Golden State? The Golden State Warriors' offseason will continue to be the story of Jonathan Kuminga, as long as the 22-year-old forward remains a restricted free agent, as he and the Warriors clash on where they stand for his next contract. Golden State has put other free agents on pause, as names such as Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton have been linked. Again, based on reporting, it appears as though Golden State would prefer to sign Kuminga to a deal where they could use him as a trade piece come next season. It makes sense, given how the Warriors have been hesitant to make any sign-and-trade deals with teams like the Phoenix Suns and Sacramento Kings. Recently, in a report from NBA insider Jake Fisher, he revealed that Golden State has a strong affinity for New Orleans Pelicans forward Trey Murphy III. While it's a difficult season to judge for Murphy and the Pelicans, given all the injuries and dysfunction, he did have a breakthrough 2024-25 campaign, averaging 21.2 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Realistically, any deal for Murphy with Golden State would likely feature Kuminga, meaning it would have to come after his recently signed trade restriction lifts during the regular season. Therefore, if the Warriors have the option to do a trade with Kuminga and other assets for Murphy, the question remains if Murphy would be a better fit than Kuminga on Golden State. Comparing Murphy and Kuminga's fit. An important area to look at would be the catch-and-shoot percentages for both players, as having a player who can play off-ball to Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler is important. During the 2024-25 season, Murphy shot 40% on catch-and-shoot threes, while Kuminga was at 34.8%. Looking at other shooting percentages, Murphy finished with a better overall two-point field goal percentage last season, but Kuminga took the edge in field goal percentage for shots inside 0 to 10 feet. Even factoring in other aspects such as defense, shot creation, playmaking, and contract situation, Murphy just makes more sense, even though he's just over 2 years older. Given Butler hasn't shown to be a reliable shooter, neither has Kuminga, the outside shooting bonus with Murphy might just be enough to push the needle by itself. Therefore, if Golden State can, they should trade Murphy. Warriors interested in 6-year NBA veteran free agent. Look around the Western Conference, and it is clear that teams are loading up to dethrone the now NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Gone are the days of trying to emulate the Denver Nuggets, Los Angeles Clippers, or Golden State Warriors. Now, teams like the Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, and Houston Rockets are stacking their rosters to provide quality depth to match the Thunder. The Warriors have not done much to join that group. Gone by the wayside are the top centers on the free agent market, and most perimeter two-way players have either been signed or traded for, so where does that leave Golden State? The Warriors have to start making moves. Sure, Stephen Curry is still playing like he is in his prime, and the Warriors did make a blockbuster move to bring in Jimmy Butler, but depth matters in the NBA in 2025, and Golden State has not done much to improve that aspect of their roster. A bench unit of Buddy Hield, Taron Armstrong, Moses Moody, Gueye Santos, and Tracy Jackson-Davis, with Jonathan Kuminga's status in the air, is not good enough to compete in the gauntlet that is the Western Conference. New reported interest in veteran depth. A new report from The People's Insider writer Jake Fisher revealed that the Warriors are now shifting their focus to some end-of-the-bench players to help with their depth. We've reported previously that Seth Curry and Malcolm Brogdon are candidates for a Warriors roster spot after Kuminga's situation is resolved and the above three signings are completed, Fisher wrote. He continued, another name on the Warriors' list of bench targets, sources say, is Cody Martin. The veteran swingman has received interest from numerous playoff teams this summer but is said to be waiting to see whether an opportunity with Golden State proves to be his most attractive option, or if it's better to let the season start and see what opportunities arise after training camps begin. How can these players help? These names will not jump off the screen on first look, but players like Brogdon, Seth Curry, and Cody Martin can certainly help more than an unproven younger player. Martin, in particular, played in 53 games with the Charlotte Hornets and Phoenix Suns, averaging 6.8 points per game. He is a strong, versatile defender and can play within a system like the Warriors, but he only shot 28.5% from three-point range, which is crucial for getting quality minutes around Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green. These names most likely won't get the Warriors over the hump, but it is at least worth a shot. Warriors, Jonathan Kuminga remain at standstill as trade buzz lingers. The contract impasse between the Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga is not going away, and it remains the storyline shaping Golden State's summer. The offer on the table from the Warriors has stayed the same, 2 years, $45 million, with a team option for the second season, as reported by Jake Fisher of the Stein Line. Fisher adds that Golden State also wants Kuminga to waive his right to block trades during that year. Kuminga and agent Aaron Turner are holding firm. They have no interest in a short deal with conditions, not when Phoenix was prepared to give Kuminga 4 years and nearly $90 million in a sign-and trade that included a player option in year 4. Sacramento and Chicago have also expressed interest, further reinforcing the idea that Kuminga has a market beyond Golden State. His last resort would be to take the $8 million qualifying offer that expires October 1st, making him an unrestricted free agent in 2026. That path comes with risk, but as Fisher notes, it may also be the bigger gamble for the Warriors, who would face the prospect of losing him for nothing. Trade scenarios. According to Fisher, the most realistic target in any Kuminga trade would be Pelicans forward Trey Murphy III. The Warriors see Murphy's length, defense, and outside shooting as a perfect fit alongside Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. The problem is New Orleans has no interest. The Pelicans have rejected all inquiries about Murphy, who is 25 years old and on a desirable $25 million contract for next season. San Antonio has also registered interest in Murphy, but again, the Pelicans are intent on keeping him. As for bigger swings, Fisher reports the Warriors have indeed checked on LeBron James' availability with the Lakers, calling multiple times over the past 18 months. The challenge is matching James' $52.6 million salary without gutting the roster, which makes such a deal unrealistic. The same goes for any scenario involving Giannis Antetokounmpo. What comes next? In the meantime, Golden State's roster sits with 6 open spots, the most in the league. Rival executives expect Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, and Gary Payton II to fill 3 of those, with second-round pick Will Richard expected to claim another. Melton and Payton are projected for minimum deals. Horford, 39, has waited patiently all summer as the Warriors manage their cap situation.